We definitely need to discuss the upcoming X-Men reboot and all the rumors that we've been hearing for about a year now, actually, Doc, but we're starting to get some more details from some of the more reliable scoopers out there, and it doesn't sound like Keven Feige's plans, at least for the X-Men reboot, are going to be all that exciting, although he certainly is leaning on the X-Men to bring people back into the MCU with member berries. We've seen a lot of spoilers of original characters from the Fox universe in their original comic book costumes showing up in the MCU.
That's Keven Feige's way of planting seeds for hey, remember how much you liked those Fox X-Men movies? Then also saying, we're Marvel Studios and we're about to do an X-Men movie.
Well, it doesn't sound promising. This latest rumor regarding the cinematic return of Marvel's Merry Band of Mutants was first raised to the public on December 18th, courtesy of a post made by noted scooper Daniel RPK in his personal Patreon account. Richmond provided 3 new alleged details regarding the X-Men cinematic reboot, including that Mr. Sinister would serve as the main villain, that Magneto would be left out of its cast in an attempt to differentiate the MCU's mutant films with previous ones, and that the film's plot would focus squarely on the team's female characters.
There's a lot in that rumor to dissect, and I think we could probably start with Sinister. I like the idea of using Sinister as a big bad. We've had him teased in the past, but we've never gotten to see Sinister on the screen. I am absolutely at this point terrified to see it, especially with the way Marvel Studios is going these days. There is about 0% chance we get the, terrifying genius, lunatic, and manipulator Sinister, and almost a 100% chance that we get obnoxious, mincing, flamboyant, just weirdo Sinister that Kieran Gillen gave us going back to Uncanny X-Men Volume 2. For whatever reason, that is the one that every fucking person in the comic industry likes, and exactly 0 fans of comics like.
Sinister is a cool character. It's something that not too long ago I would have been excited about, but with the direction of Phase 4 and 5 of the MCU, I'm with you. I'm much more cynical regarding what they're going to do with that character.
Now, on the issue of keeping Magneto out of it, look, to some degree, I can understand it. We've had 7, 8 X-Men movies at this point. Magneto has been really kind of the villain or B villain in every one of them. There's a lot of other villains the X-Men have that have not really been touched that much, or when they have been touched, they've been done so very, very poorly, like Apocalypse.
The good news is X-Men do have a phenomenal amount of female heroes that are absolutely established and awesome. We're talking Jean Grey, we're talking Storm, we're talking Magic. You got Wolfspade out there, Jubilee, Kitty Pryde, the lady that's married to Gambit, Rogue.
Yeah.
There's so many great, really awesome X-Men female heroes that are already out there that they could use from. But I think to not have male heroes in there just to have it an all-girl team would be weird. But I don't think that's what they'll do. There'll definitely be some male heroes. They'll just be the forefront will be the female heroes.
Now, if they do, and they really do sideline the male heroes, they're setting themselves up for failure. Because while you are correct, X-Men probably have the largest number of associated great female characters. They have an equally large number of great male heroes that we haven't gotten to see much of. I mean, we've had 7 fucking X movies. Has Cyclops gotten to say more than 10 words total? I mean,
Cyclops is big in at least the first couple.
But he doesn't say anything. He's just standing there being, intimidating.
We haven't really seen Gambit.
Wolverine.
We haven't seen Forge. We haven't really seen Colossus do a whole lot more. He did more stuff in the Deadpool movies, really.
Marvel, you're already getting the reputation of turning your universe into the MCU. Why in the fuck are you doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on it?
That is true. Though the scooper did not provide any details as to which specific heroines were currently being considered to bring the fight to the aforementioned mutant genesis, it's likely that the Iman Vellani portrayed Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, will be among them, as she is both the MCU's first official mutant and one of its currently favored female characters. And I think that's probably correct. I think there's an absolute certainty that Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel will be in the official X-Men team.
They're gonna do it. It's a matter of time when. And that's the reason why there was at least a little bit of veracity to the X-Men comic relaunch rumors that we talked about last week, because they were positioning Kamala Khan as at least relatively central for the X line. I'm still believing that they're gonna do that. I don't think that they're gonna backtrack on it.
They played the X-Men cartoon music in her show for a reason.
They're going to treat her like the audience insert. If you look at, say, the original cartoon, Jubilee was that audience insert. In the original trilogy of films, Rogue was the audience insert. Now it's going to be Kamala. You'll find out that the X-Men have already been in existence and operating from the shadows, but she will become the audience insert into that X-Men world by the time you get to that movie.
But will she have any struggles? That's the big problem, right?
No.
That's what they always kind of do with female characters.
No, that's the problem.
With the MCU lately is, when you have the Rogue story from the original Fox X-Men stories, like, she doesn't fit in at first. Like, Logan's not all that nice. She's trying to find some place where she belongs. She finds Iceman and they're having an attraction. It turns out she can't even touch him, even though, there's obviously attraction and stuff there. Rogue not fitting in and trying to become an X-Men was obviously one of the driving forces of the original trilogy. And it's something that you could kind of understand whether she was male or female.
That was the way that we were introduced to the world of the mutants, or at least, the general public was, that didn't already read X-Men comics. They were introduced to the world of mutants and how that world works through the eyes of Rogue. So I don't necessarily have a problem with it being female-centric if that's the way that they're talking about it. Hopefully that's what they mean by when they say female-centric, instead of just sidelining the men to have, 5 or 6 women as the main characters of the story.
The X-Men franchise already has a lot of existing strong female characters. However, will Feige use them to send a message is the question. In addition, recently it was said Feige's X-Men plans are not that exciting. This sounds exciting on paper, but it's actually not that exciting if you consider how Feige wants the MCU X-Men to appear post-Avengers Secret Wars. Tweeted, "Can we get some toast?" Twitter account. The current idea to reboot the X-Men in the MCU does not feature Wolverine on the team.
The First Class universe, for the first movie, then the third and fourth movies did not include Wolverine.
But the one that did the best was Days of Future Past, which had Wolverine in them.
Can it be done without Wolverine? Yeah. Is going to be a massive uphill battle? Fuck yes.
Yeah, that's like the one character that everyone kind of knows from the X-Men. Yes, people know who Storm is, they know who Cyclops is, but everybody knows who Wolverine is. They know the claws, they know the character, and obviously he was the breakout character from the entire Fox X-Men kind of universe that they did, and he even got a couple of standalone solo movies. Although I don't believe they had performed quite as well as they would have liked, but X-Men Origins Wolverine was absolutely trash. Logan's the one that took off.
Yeah, and you know what? The Wolverine did all right. It just didn't do where they wanted it to be. And in my opinion, I think that is the best Wolverine movie.
Better than Logan?
I think it's the best.
Oh,
he wasn't Wolverine in that movie. Sorry.
He was Old Man Logan.
Yeah, he wasn't Wolverine.
He was Old Man Logan. It was an old man Logan
he was a crotchety old man. That's not Wolverine. I get it that's what he was. They were adapting. But even then, I mean, come on, that was the best we could get of the.
I like the Wolverine when he's in Japan. I actually think that movie is underrated.
Yes,
but man, Logan was so much better. That performance by Patrick Stewart put that damn movie over the top.
I'm not saying it was a bad movie by any stretch. I'm just saying it wasn't a terribly good Wolverine movie.
It makes you like X-23, which comic books haven't been able to do.
Wow, see, I didn't really like her that much even in that movie. But that being said, Wolverine.
We're going to have female Wolverine in this universe to start out on.
Oh, yes, we are. We're going to find out that Logan died years ago.
And it just so happens the girl that played X-23 in the Fox movie universe is probably grown up and old enough to play at least a younger adult version of Wolverine now.
Yeah. Actually, I believe she's in her early 20s now. Yes. So the timeline does.
That's the character that they're going to take for the Fox universe.
Yeah.
Besides Deadpool.
Yeah. So they'll say that there's no Wolverine in this movie, and then you get X-23 calling herself Wolverine. If this is the way they go, it's gonna blow up in their faces. Now, I understand they want to do something different to differentiate themselves from the Fox movies and make them their own, but guess what? The Fox movies gave us a lot of the things that we wanted, a lot of things we didn't want. And
I'm just excited, Doc, because I had to deal with the Force is female because I'm a Star Wars guy, and now you're going to have to deal with the X gene is female.
Yeah.
And I think you deserve it.
You know, this is the same company that decided, hey, we already own the girl demographic. Let's buy Disney's and Star Wars so that we can start owning the boy demographic, because right now boys don't give a shit about Disney. And then once they buy them, they promptly turn them into girls' products.
But I do think it would be an enormous mistake if Wolverine's not front and center, Professor X is not front and center, Cyclops, maybe Colossus. You know, there's some really great characters out there that are well known, and you would want to drive this new franchise that they're going to be getting up and running. And I also do think it's weird that the first Fox, character we're going to see is Wolverine. We're going to see some extra characters from the Fox universe, in this MCU, in this Deadpool movie that's kind of driving the MCU forward. But then when they reboot to the X-Men, it's not going to be those characters, it sounds like.
You're going to get completely fucking blue-balled after with any sort of nostalgia bait that they're going to try to, warm you up with.
I'm excited because I've seen the spoiler pictures. I'm excited to see the original Fox cast in the real X-Men uniforms. They look good. Yeah,
like they tried doing some of those costumes at the end of Days of Future Past, when they had all the mutants in like the danger room at the beginning of that, then promptly never had them in those costumes in Apocalypse. I saw the one with James Marsden actually in the 90s Cyclops with the bandolier thing. I've never really been a big fan of that costume. I thought it was over-designed, but goddamn, I kind of can't wait to see it.
I'm going to check it out for certain. We've been talking about the X-Men rumors for this MCU reboot for about 25 minutes now. When it comes up on YouTube, it'll be 12, 13 minutes, something like that. But you can get the full audio of that on the Patreon. It'll actually be up a few days before it goes up on the YouTube as well, because we do this every week. We have the Doc Unfiltered, where we do the weekly topic as well as a review, all unfiltered before it goes up on YouTube, as well as a two-hour Q&A every single week with the patrons as well.
If you like this video, you can get it's twice as long on the Patreon. And then there's a whole 2 other hours of stuff that we don't talk about here. And it could be anything that pops into somebody's head. I love doing it every week.
It's the cult of Doc. I don't get it, but people like it.
Well, I mean, that's what happened when Doc is right all the time.
He's got a point.